Hello, are you there? It's me. Welcome to my world. We're getting ready. Come on in. It's time. I know it's late, but that's okay because in the future, these will be coming in hopefully, your morning emails. And I am just excited to have you on Thursdays. It's Heart and Soul Day. And I want to take today to thank you sincerely for this wonderful journey on my pre-launch of my book. And hopefully within this next year, my book will be done. It's at the editors. It's on its third edit. And we had a major, major year with my editor and I, as I have been mourning my mother for a year, and now she's just recently lost her father. So this has been quite a journey, and I'm kind of in my own mind. I have this space and this time. I'm going to go ahead and launch my full business. And I told my mother, I said, Mother, which part should I do? The book, the play, the coaching? And she reached for my hand and she says, Honey girl, do it all. And so I am even in some of our children's book stuff while we anxiously await the book that I've worked on since about since Adam was about 4, but pretty seriously since 2012. But the last 4 years with my mother very intensely. So I'm very excited about that. And I'd like to say that my name is Colleen Liz Frost, and I am in development, and you're along for the ride. And I really want to encourage you to follow me this 1st of May on May Day as we journey into the Facebook page. And I'm hopeful that I'll have it ready and you'll be anxious to come along. These last 40 plus days of being live with you here, and I call it where I am coming out of my closet. I literally have been in COVID now for about 21 years as a mother, and I have been more social in these last 40 days than I probably have been my whole adult life. So I gotta say it's been pretty exciting. And today I think I just had a day that I just needed to crawl inside my turtle shell. And I thought, thank God it's Thursday because Thursday is kind of set up for that. That's what I always called with my son, to take a day to just crawl inside our turtle shells and to be grateful, to say thanks, and to find out what our needs are and how we be helpful to one another. And so that's what Thursdays are, is to be able to, whatever your beliefs are or your faith is, to practice some type of centering and to come to a sense of balance. And that's what my coaching that I've been coached to with my mother. And when she was leaving me that last year, she says, Honey girl, you have to become your own head coach. And I think after 10 months and almost 11 months now that I'm almost ready, but I have to say it's been helpful to peek inside or outside into this social world, both physically after this COVID, um, but also to just peek inside this social. So thank you for that. I want to uh, When I had Adam, I decided to do everything on purpose. I was going to take my time, and then my life crashed wide open. I awoke from being dead, then I stumbled into dying, then I fell in love with history, all of which is the story of the book. So today I want to say that there's a quote about a little girl, and I want to read it to you. Somewhere behind the athlete you become, in the hours of practice and the coaches who have pushed you, is a little girl who fell in love with the game and never looked back. Play for her tonight. And I just want to say that today, as challenging as some of these weeks have been for all of us, I just want you to try to go back and remember, um, before all those big goals started to push you and the hours of your practice to try to reach something, go back. And that's what I did. I went back and I sat where I used to always sit with my mother. And it was also the first letter that I taught my son. I started with the letter T, and it was with underneath the tree. It was a weeping willow tree that my mother had in our backyard when I was a little girl. And she told me that how what her job was. And her job was to tell me how rare I was and to help me shine the crown that God gave me. And when I go out into the world, I would shine that crown bright on others so I could meet all the rare people and go to all the rare places and never forget all those rare voices that will carry me the rest of my life. And she also said that if I ever lose my crown or have someone take my crown, I was to come back to that tree. And it was here that I would remember that little girl. Well, I did go back to that tree, and my mother did help me find that crown. And when my little boy was little, tiny, tiny, like newborn, it was that little finger that I took and I traced on his forehead the cross and the letter T, like my mother taught me. And when I was so sick at certain times of my life, it was that letter T that my mother drew on me. So tonight, I want to make sure that you remember the letter T. And I hope when you see the trees outside in May as they start to bud their leaves, I hope you think of that letter T. The next letter that I taught my son was the circle. Well, balls, of course, I had to be a circle to go around our hearts. That's how it started. And then, of course, it was to draw the circle. And then it was to hand him the balls. And then it was to teach him how to bounce the balls. So, yes, it was the beginning of playing for the rest of my life with my son. And I always would tell him, I hope that no matter what, when he was about 6, 7, and 8, I said, no matter what, don't ever forget what it feels like to be 8 years old. So today, in my Thursdays, my heart and soul day, my heart went back to the year of 8. And when you jump on over to the Facebook, and if you happen to dare go in to this secret place and see the tent, I hope that you remember when you were little. And I hope you remember when you were 8. And maybe you sat below that tree or bounced those balls all over town. And I hope that you can enjoy what you're seeing. I am a professional 8-year-old at heart, and this is the business that I chose. And I can't wait to tell you how it's all going to be on purpose. And I hope to meet all of you to find out what your passions were and are. And I want to learn how your coaches have inspired you. I want to just add something about this circle. Do you know that when my son was about, I want to say 10, 12 years old, and Mary Jo and I went to one more trip to Legoland? And it was like the year that a woman at the Lego company, which by the way, the Lego company has a history that they were the toy of the century twice, if I remember. And it's his great grandson, I believe, or his grandchild that owns the company now. And it's in Denmark. And I'm Danish. So it just goes on and on, this love of history. And my son, I'll never forget, he says, Mom, a woman figured out how to build a giant circle. So the circle, 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 the ball, ball, ball has just been everywhere in my life. Well, thank you for letting me share tonight. Living life on purpose. The circus is being built. The podcast is getting ready. And I do have a whistle in my step. My pregame warm up is coming up next. I can't wait for you to meet my cat family. I just love cats. And I do have a cat family. and you'll be meeting them. Did I tell you about the rat? Um, Not tonight. This is going to be something good. I promise. Thursdays, becoming a preservationist. Well, I am a head coach. And my mother, that instilled the love of the letter T, I gave it to the day of Thursday. And I am building that digital home, and it will be my estate. And I hope to have all of you in it with me. I want to meet you. I want to know who you are, what do you do, and what are you good at. And in the meantime, live life on purpose and have a balance 7 days a week. And for Pete's sake, put a ball in the tube box and love that circle. Thursdays are for those who dare. Be avant garde, be rare, and remember me. Sincerely, Colleen.